Wait, stop.
Just leave it. That's good.
No, I can't.
I love this start.
Everyone, hold
Welcome back to What Have You?
I have to put this on airplane mode or else it's going to be a mess.
Welcome back to What Have You. I'm Rachel Jankovic.
I'm Becca Merkel. We're smooth today, smooth.
Things are going real good already. We have off to the races with a great podcast for you. So planned out.
Very, very planned.
Becca and we're in the middle of the part of the year that feels like just total nonsense is what it feels like. But we're getting really close to moving into our house. We have to move into our house because other people are moving into the house that we are currently living in.
Yeah, so ready or not.
The deadline is coming upon us for that. That's exciting.
School is coming down the pike at us.
So Becca's been doing all the welcome back to school events, and
I
I've been doing all the rummage about your junk events where you...
I had 4 in a week.
I feel like I'm living in a place where putting things in boxes doesn't make sense, but neither does putting things away in a more orderly fashion.
Hey,
so instead you're just in a big...
I have a good idea for you.
What's that?
Nate has a dump truck. Just borrow that.
I already said, can I borrow your dump truck?
Just throw it all in. Just have the kids
for the
carry
dump
it out.
Or for the
for the move.
For the whole thing. Just
carry it out.
Do it.
Chuck it in.
Good thinking.
Dump it off here.
I like your thoughts. Oh, okay. I saved something to read to you.
Okay.
For such a time as this. This is to talk about what's wrong in our culture today, pretty much, I think, is what...
Okay. I'm ready.
This is real bad, though. This is so bad that I don't even know how to go about it. Okay.
Where did you come up with it, anyway? What?
Somebody sent it to me.
Okay, so it's a little gift.
It's an app.
An app.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm ready.
I'll read you about it, what it says.
Okay.
There are what is that even? Yeah, that's weird. It's over 3.33 thousand ratings. It's a weird way to formulate thousands. Anyways, so there's people here.
People are buying it.
Yeah, it's a role-playing app.
No.
Yeah, so think role-playing.
Eek.
Ages 12 and up.
Okay.
And there are in-app purchases. Okay? It is an app means you can buy things in it.
From it. Okay. All right.
It is called Self-Care. And the subtitle,
it's role-playing. And there is no irony there?
No.
Okay.
The subtitle is Let's Stay in Bed All Day. Okay?
Wow.
I had to really try to get into someone else's head to just even read it.
So that's where the role-playing comes in.
You pretend that you're not doing anything.
How can I be a self-absorbed monster?
Yeah, how could I? How could I be worse than I am? I'll do it with this app. Okay, this is what they say. It's amazing. Hello, this is us. We're staying home for the day. We refuse to leave our bed. This is our space, our shelter. Today, this is the whole universe. And it's okay. We're surrounded by our favorite sacred things. Each one has something kind and magical to offer. And we'll be okay. Let's practice some self-care together.
Wait.
Let's start with a little breathing exercise.
Hold on. Are the kind and magical things your pillows?
Or what? Just hold on.
Hold on. Okay,
Breathing slowly connects us to our body and gives us life. We can breathe for as long as we'd like. There's no hurry. There's no end. We breathe and listen to ourselves. In this universe, our goal is simply to feel better. There is no winning, no failure, no score, no difficulty, no ads, no notifications. There is just us and our feelings. Join us here in this room for a few moments. This room is our escape.
This is amazing.
Becca, it's killer. And get this, there are 3,329 ratings and mostly 5-star ratings. And people say, this is so bad. One of the first reviews said her only trouble is that when you come back to the room, sometimes the things aren't the way you left them on the altar. There's some altar involved in this. It's horrible. It's a Evel Knievel looking bedroom.
Cat. I see a cat in
and then there's like write about your feelings, and then there's word searches that take no talent, where you just move one letter into the one blank spot. There's fuzzy bubbles. There's what on earth? I mean, this is the altar, I think, where you put your assorted pretend crystals.
Oh man.
So I just thought that really takes the cake, in my opinion. But part of the thing that was amazing to me was that part of nothing. That we're trying to do is feel better. And how bad are we at feeling better?
There's no difficulties here, only your feelings. It's
and what could be more difficult than those? That's the thing.
It reminds me of the beginning of Great Divorce, when they're in Greytown and everything is so tedious and all the bookshops only sell Aristotle.
Yeah. Well, the idea, it is so hellish when the way that Lewis
it's so
was.
Boring.
Yeah, but the way Lewis was about that in Greytown, isn't it kind of when people just are pursuing themselves forever is sort of the idea?
But everybody's
it's just
petty, squabbly.
Yes,
sort of.
but it's just endlessly bland. Like there's nothing, and which is what kills me about. You know what will help you feel better? To spend all day in a pretend bed. Like to pretend in a role-playing game that you're spending the whole day in a bed. Like, why?
With a cat.
With and with maybe an altar with your weird crystals on it that will help you to remember that you're the best. It's just nothing about this is nice.
No.
It is so crippling that we have, like, it is so we're such a wealthy society that we have people getting on our own little personal pocket-sized computers, shutting themselves in a little closet at work to calm themselves down by pretending they're in bed. Like, really bad.
I don't understand. So you're not actually in bed.
In the game, your character is in bed, and you can't get them out. You have to just breathe and focus, and then I think you unlock powers to slowly be able to do more. What? Like, you can start puttering around your room, making yourself feel better.
What are you going to purchase?
I don't know. Crystals, junk, bad advice.
A costume.
Oh, yeah.
For your furry persona.
When I blew through some of the reviews, somebody was saying, like, I do think it would help me to heal faster if my character could leave the room, because sometimes I think it was like, it's really weird.
Oh.
It's very meta, because they're saying maybe I need to start taking some steps forward in my real life, but my character has not healed enough yet that I can get them to go out the door. So how can I go out the door in my real life?
This is
depressing, because it's one thing like to go
higher math. I can't understand what we're doing.
It's one thing.
What are we doing?
Role-playing games can be dumb when you're going on quests to kill a dragon, but at least then the thing that you are thinking is neat is doing something.
But I can't imagine. So the truth is, like, if you're in a role-playing game questing around for the dragon, my guess is that you're not accomplishing a terrible amount in the real world at the time.
Right.
But this one, I don't know how you successfully achieve in that app unless you are also staying in bed at home, because you can't actually be a flurry of productivity in your life while you're...
Well, a lot of people are trying to practice self-care is in when they are emotionally unfit in their busy lives. They're trying to make themselves get grounded and balanced with self-care.
I don't think so. I think this is not the route that successful people take, is that app.
No, I didn't mean the app, but I meant self-care at large. Sure. And I saw somebody said in a comment somewhere where everyone was talking about self-care again. Someone in the comments was like, "See, I do go get my nails done all the time, but I don't feel better. Just my nails look better." It's like, well, you don't say. That getting your nails done actually won't fix your spiritual problem.
So, my kids were showing me it's like a failed audition to get onto one of these
Someone
America's
Has
Got
Talent.
Talent kinds of things. I can't remember
Someone
which show
Has
it was.
Talent, yeah.
It's a show that I do not watch, and this was just a failure in every regard. But it has that mean British guy who sits there and makes ugly remarks at people, and anyway,
Simon.
That guy. And so this girl comes out, and it's abysmal from the get-go. You know it's a terrible thing that's about to happen, and she whips out a little song that is real bad, and she can't sing. And they all sort of are like, so, do you feel like you can sing? She's like, no, I don't. And no, maybe it wasn't Simon. It was somebody. I don't know. But anyway, they're all kind of like, well,
tell us why you think
why
you have
are you
talent.
on a singing competition then? And she freaks out at them, gets super ugly, starts shouting at them that you don't need to be a good singer to win a singing competition, and that she wanted to be the next American Idol or whatever it was. And it was like, and I think, and they were like, look at all the pictures behind you. They had one thing in common. They could sing. And she's like, but what if we could have an American Idol who couldn't sing? What about that?
What if we had an American Idol that just threw temper tantrums?
Yeah, but the thing that was so funny about it is I was like,
she's
America
right.
is
She's
so
right because of
schizophrenic because all
that's
she's
what we
doing,
say all the time.
She has been believing all of the Disney
She's like,
movies.
this is what you told me,
Yeah.
and here I am
She's
trying
believing in
to
herself.
cash a check
Yeah.
that was always going to bounce.
Yeah.
It always was.
And it's like we're so schizophrenic because we continue to have that be the message of greeting cards
And what you tell little girls.
and Disney princesses.
You can be
But then
you can do it all.
But then we put that on a fail video, and the whole nation
everyone
goes,
snortles
har,
into their
har. Look at that.
And
because
true.
everybody knows that you can't.
Okay, speaking of shows you don't watch, and you've seen enough. I saw the clip of The Bachelorette telling off the Christian guy who said that it would be a miss for him if she was sleeping with multiple contestants. He wanted to go
we've
home.
already talked about this.
Yeah,
haven't
but
we?
maybe. But what really killed me is that she's on her next high horse. I don't know what's happened here. I just saw her on the cover of a magazine at the grocery store. Once again, her triumphantly self-righteous face saying, I will not marry a liar. And I was like, this is the best thing ever. You're like, but I demand that whoever wants to marry me doesn't care if I'm a fornicator.
It's kind of
because
like,
it's irrelevant. But my standards are such that I will never marry a liar.
I just like to be whimsical with my legalisms.
Okay, somebody sent me this one too. I thought it was so funny. Don't forget to advocate for yourself this week, okay? Start sentences with, I want, I need, I expect, and I require. And no need to start with an I'm sorry, but, and no need to add a LOL at the end. Advocate for yourselves this week. I just want to know, what kind of a hot tip is that to tell all the ladies to start going around saying, I expect and I require of everyone else? But how well will this go down, like, in a family? Like, if you were like,
that's
hey,
what I was thinking.
Hey, everybody here, just real quick, this week, let's all just tell everyone else what we expect and require.
Yeah.
I wonder, actually, all of a sudden, when I said that, it makes me wonder how much of this is because we are living in a nation of people who don't know how to live in a family. Like, living in a family is your up close and personal look-see at how people interact. You know, like, how you have to love each other.
Well, okay, I saw a bumper sticker yesterday at the grocery store as I was loading my groceries into my car. I was pondering it. And it said, a woman who... Oh, how did it go? It was something like a woman who requires no... I don't know. It was like affirmation from anyone, or a woman who doesn't care what anyone thinks of her. It was basically that.
Okay.
Is the most feared person on the planet. And I was like,
is that what
we're
going for?
But I also wondered, what would we think of a man who didn't care at all what anyone thought of him?
Buoyed up his spirits by thinking he'd be the most feared man on the planet?
It's like, I don't know. Does this only hold for women, or like how broad is this principle here?
People are just so stupid about this kind of thing. It is weird because it's like not being able to hold a concept in the abstract to discuss it. It's this desire to make everything crazy personal right away. And I do wonder about that, because it's like it is a Christian skill to discuss a topic in the abstract and then you make the personal application. Do you know what I mean? Like that, where you hear a sermon and you should be taking things and making personal applications. Like, how do I behave like that? How do I this? But not this crazy defensiveness of anything. I don't know. It's just an interesting.
It's just like when you say,
maybe it's just a special kind of insanity our culture is having right now.
Each of you consider others to be better than yourself.
And then someone says, like, what if I'm better than them?
You know, then you have to make application. Consider others to be more important than yourself.
Yeah, and then you have to say, okay, but that's when you're talking about the Word of God. So I'm talking about, like, I'm just saying it's a Christian practice to try to apply truths that you're discussing in the abstract to your life. And what happens now, I feel like, is truths you're trying to discuss in the abstract, people want to reject if it would mean anything in their life.
Yeah, it's funny, because it's sort of like if everyone...
Unless it's flattery, in which case we're down with it. If everyone in the room
was prioritizing themselves and not requesting, but demanding and expecting, then
how many people are demanding of you in that?
But that's what I mean. If everybody's demanding in the room, we end up with probably a bloody battle to the death.
Well, right, because how could that go?
But if everyone in the room is considering others to be more important than themselves, if everyone in the room is obeying the golden rule, then
what you have is fellowship.
You have fellowship, and actually you end up being treated much better than when you're...
Like, wildly much better. When you treat other people much better.
It turns out if everyone's behaving like Christians, what you have is a civilized society. And if
where there are things like manners.
If everyone's prioritizing their own little fat selves, then it's like
I just can't even imagine that. Like, this week I'm only going to tell people what I require of them.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know, Becca?
I don't know.
I require it of you that we do a podcast today. I expect it. And if you do not do it, what will I do, Beck?
I don't know.
What's the threat?
I don't know.
I think a lot of this stuff is just so dumb it's obvious, but it's also really bizarre how things that just happen all the time. That is it's the fallacy of repetition, which is what is behind brainwashing. It's what is done to brainwash people, is to say something over and over and over, and that even if it's obviously not true, people start to believe it because they've heard it so many times.
I think a lot of Christians have accommodated themselves to this in little ways that are actually innocuous, where they say, I just have decided to buy myself baby carrots because I'm worth it.
Right, and you're like, actually, the baby carrot decision could be totally fine, but it is not based upon your...
But it's also like, are you worth a baby carrot? Yeah, okay, fine.
Whatever.
There's nothing wrong with that in one way. But it's like...
for sure the Lord has provided a baby carrot for you.
But it's also like, it doesn't take a big leak in the boat to end up with a lot of water inside.
Yeah.
And so, when you start accommodating yourselves to the little...
You just reminded me of what Lewis says about the... never fighting sin in yourself by saying you're better than that. Because he talks about, which is totally a temptation.
Yep.
To be like, I have disappointed myself because I am a better mom than a person who snarks at my children. And the reality is, the things we never deserve is the grace that makes us behave
because I
more
think
graciously.
Lewis is so good at pointing out
that's pride.
Well, yeah, and that the devil would always be perfectly satisfied with letting you off of one sin if he could replace it with a much more diabolical one of pride, which is,
He's like, so if he gets you to have a victory over a sin because you're telling yourself that you're better than that, then what you're doing is going down a much worse hole to get out of one sin. But I guess I was just thinking it's kind of like that you, when you are like, throwing things in there like, because I'm worth it or I deserve it. It is like, what are you... The activity itself is fine. Yeah. Why that justification for it?
Yeah.
Or what have you bought into? These little dumb things that over time, make a really big difference in how you go about your life.
Yep. Totally. Well, there we have that.
Now, we're just going to go quiet while we play the self-care app for a little while. I wonder who the altar is to. You?
Must be.
Who else would it be for? Because certainly not a God-glorifying endeavor.
No.
Man.
It's weird. It's a weird problem.
It is super weird. So did I already say on the podcast about how building a house is like being really overdue pregnant at this phase of building a house?
I could see it.
And it is in all the ways. Because you're just waiting around for a lot of work.
Yep.
But you're not doing it yet. You're like, it's so much like... In a minute, we're going to do something.
But one way or another, you're going to be living in this house in the next
couple weeks. So the funny part to me is that Luke had something the other night, and when he came home, this is another way in which it's much like being overdue.
Okay.
Was I doing productive things to prepare for anything? No. Was I working on punch needle rug hooking? Yes, I was. That's what I was doing. And somehow a huge pressure relief in my life that I'm like, no, but look, it's working. I love this. Now I need to get involved in rug hooking right now, because not like I need to pack or get ready for school or do any of those things. What I need is to get out all of my grandma's random tapestry yarns, make a big fluff of a mess in our bedroom doing that. But I have to say, that's a really fun one. It was really fun.
Yeah,
so
I saw it. It was pretty
I
rad.
made my big break into punch needle crafting.
Guys, it's
since
big.
We've been here. And I think you should all look into it, because
also,
I don't think we have enough.
That noise is a wild big tractor harvesting.
It's not a tractor, Becca.
Combine.
It's what my children like to
call. It's a harvester. It's a thing. It's a large machine.
One time.
Whoa.
One time.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Man. The chaff is blowing into the car.
Just blew in.
So one time we were driving somewhere when one went by, and one of my children said, "Wow, look at all the concubines in the field." We've never really recovered from that. We just kept on.
We had a good one. We were driving along the highway, and there was, you know how different groups sign up to collect trash at different parts. And this was a sorority that was all out there in their little reflector vests picking up litter along the side of the road, and then one of the kids, this was like years and years ago, one of the kids was like, they're all girls. Like, they're all girls. And we said, yeah, it's a sorority. And there's sort of a lull for a minute. And then one of the kids goes, weird. They don't look like nuns.
Oh, it's such a blessing when those things happen.
Yeah, I know.
They're like, yes!
Enjoyed that one.
That was really good. Oh, that is.
I know. But yeah, so you have all of the weird waiting around moment for moving. I am having a weird life shift because Knox moved out this summer. And so he's got an apartment with friends, and then our third went to college. So now we've got 3 in college and 2 in high school, and 1 moved out, and it's a whole thing. It's like, I was telling Ben.
Funny how...
It's like, you know how you roll out the dough one direction, then you pick it up and turn it and roll it the other way?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I feel like God just picked us up and turned us, and now he's rolling us the other direction.
He's like giving you a different
it's
take
like,
on this.
This is a new...
New stretching. New stretching.
New thing to learn how to do, which is really great. But it's like, it's a funny new milestone. Because you go on for a stretch there where it's all basically the same for a while.
Well, I'll tell you.
There's lots of turning points when they're little. And then there's this moment where you're just kind of hanging there for a bit. And then you start hitting all the turning points again.
Well, Moses is 3, but he's going to be going to preschool 2 mornings a week.
Mm-hmm.
And he's big. You know, he's not like a tiny little person. And so whenever, for some reason, you know, like if he comes and wants me to hold him and I'm holding him on my hip.
Yeah.
Or, you know, whatever. But when I'm holding him on my hip right now, it has that feeling about it where it's not often that I do that. It just has that feeling about it that is like, is this the last time that I'm ever going to like just hold you on my hip? Because, you know, there is a last time. And then when we went to Silverwood, Luke put him on his shoulders for a time. And I had that same feeling. Although Moses said this is good. He had a good insight at Silverwood. He said, Mama, it looks like that girl has taken her clothes off. And I just felt like, well, son, you put your finger right on it. It looks like that girl has indeed taken them off. It blesses me when the grammatical mistakes are somehow more on the money than a correct one. You know, she has taken them off. And that is what happened here.
And we wish that she would taken them back on.
It would have been good if she took them on. she should have done that. But she didn't.
Oh, my heavens.
Silverwood is a great place to go if you want to know really kind of the end destination of a lot of tattoos.
Sure.
It's oh, yeah. Look at these. Oh, man. My guys are putting cabinets in right now. We're by our house, and they just came out to take a little look-see at how unfeasible this might be for them to take my sink
her
inside.
Giant sink.
I hope that nobody throws their back out.
Well,
They're shaking their heads at us. That sink is not going to be hand ferried in the back door of our house by 2 men. It's going to need 3 or 4, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
I
mean, Beck, are we the other 2 men?
No, I'm not. I'm not volunteering. He's trying.
Come on, how much do you care for me, Beck? How much do you care for me?
Tell me what you demand. What do you demand?
I require that people who are around me serve me when I need it. That's what I require, Beck.
If they had a dolly, they might
I think
be able
that
to
us
do it.
watching them might not be encouraging, so I'll look away.
Those 2 men are unable to move her sink at all.
We just stare at them. Oh my goodness. So I was on the quest today to try to find a kitchen sink, little porcelain kitchen sink that will fit in my bathroom vanity.
I think that's really fun.
It's because
what about like a little prep sink?
Yeah, that's probably, but I don't want it to be super narrow. You know, like I want it to be.
Yeah.
I want a kitchen sink in my bathroom.
It's a good idea.
I don't see what's wrong with that.
No.
What's wrong with that? It's my only.
It's a great idea. I am a fan. I am wondering in my heart whether or not I want an ice maker in my kitchen.
I don't think I do.
Really? How come?
Because I don't think it makes that much ice. Like it's not like an ice machine. It's not like
No, it's an ice machine. It's like a...
No. I'm saying like, if you all of a sudden needed 5 bags of ice, your little ice maker won't be making that much ice.
I think it will.
5 bags at one time? No, it won't.
Well, maybe not 5.
You gotta get yourself a read on how fast will this thing make, because a lot of them don't even store frozen ice.
No, they don't, but they keep it.
So they're not. It's not like you build up a big ice supply. You just always have the same amount of what I suspect would be not enough ice.
Maybe. I was more concerned about the noise.
I don't want to pay for an ice machine that doesn't get me all the way to my ice fulfillment. Like, think of having a permanent spot given to an ice machine.
But here's the thing.
And have it not actually quite get there.
buy bags of ice sometimes in multiples of 5 or 10. And at those times, yes, you just go buy it. But I also buy a bag of ice probably twice a week. And so that
What do you do with one bag of ice at a time?
Well, soup night. We go through a whole bag of ice.
You put it in like lemonade or something?
Yeah, I have a big beverage thing and we put it in that. You know, like I
think I have felt that if it made pebble ice, then I'd be down with that. Yeah. Then I'd be like, this is special. This is worth my time. Mm-hmm. But if it was just making regularly old cubes, I'd rather not.
Yeah, I don't know. I just hate buying bags of ice and then not having it fit in the freezer. So then you set it on your counter until you need it in 3 hours, and then it's dripping into the sink, and then you don't have as much ice as you wanted anyway.
Well, I think you should back up there at that part where you leave it on your counter dripping for 3 hours.
Well, I'm not going to make a special run right before guests come for the ice.
Why? You said there's no room in your freezer, though.
Right, not for a whole bag of ice.
Right, so see, why doesn't it make more sense than to invest in a freezer where you could put extra bags of ice, even get yourself on the Frosty Iceman delivery circuit?
I don't have a space for a whole new freezer, except, like, if we were to put it down, I don't know where we would put it. I don't have room in my kitchen for a whole freezer.
Do a little under cabinet freezer, like a pull-out freezer drawer.
Now you're talking.
Because if you don't have room in your freezer, it's a freezer you need more of.
I have a freezer in the garage, which I never go out and look at. So there's huckleberry jam in there I made like 5 years ago and forgot about.
But not forgot so hard. You didn't forget so hard that you can't bring it up right now.
Well, because I
it's not a true surprise.
Until I'm like, oh, I do have a freezer.
Oh, they're back to try some more.
I'm glad we've thrashed out the ice maker.
Yeah,
question.
Good job.
Yeah.
You know, if only we could address the more important question of the cloth napkins one more time.
Oh, great goodness. Well, we're currently working on in my pantry some potato storage. So I also have some big thoughts, big feelings, big issues about the potatoes and the onions and how one ought to store them, and it's gonna be good, you guys. In like, I don't know, 7 or 8 years, I'll post a picture.
When we first got married, we were given this gorgeous, huge Le Creuset Dutch oven. It's just really fantastic. But at the time, it was just the two of us, and it was like,
yeah,
I don't know. Sometimes we would cook us each a chicken breast, which in the bottom of that thing wouldn't mean anything at all. It's like big for a whole chicken. It's too big for that. So we didn't use it, but I used to use it. I would put the potatoes and the onions in it. It was on the floor, and I would store them. The one thing that goes really wrong there is that when a potato goes off, that's tough news. When potatoes go, that horrible stench that you can't figure out where it's coming from. Well, when that one happened inside the Dutch oven, well, it didn't happen often. I think it only happened once.
Burst out at you?
I just remember being like, what is that strange smell? And you're like, can't, because it's really locked in with that thing. Yeah. So when you finally cracked the lid open, I was like, oh, so bad. I think that was when I quit storing potatoes and onions there. Yeah.
No, I'm doing mine in.
So I'm always I'm a little fearful of potato storage from that time.
I'm doing a tilt-out bin, but with a punch tin front.
I don't think so that this is going to work either. They're going to
try
to lift.
There's some aeration going on. So if a potato goes funky, I'll notice it. Oh, guys, these poor men. These poor men with the giant rock
the worst is
sink.
The worst part is that they don't even know they're being live podcasted.
No, they don't know. They don't know. They're just out here having a time with
struggling with my crate full of pigeon sink.
What kind of a woman orders a bathtub for her kitchen
sink? And then I look
sink?
out the window at them and I smile. Good job trying.
It's me.
Good
I'm
job.
The one what ordered a stone bathtub.
Doesn't look like they're gonna be able to do that.
They're trying. They're trying to uncrate this sucker.
Yeah, it's just unkind of us to sit here and supervise it.
We pretend we're not noticing their activities.
So I have yesterday we unrolled my... Oh, they picked it up.
Oh, they've got it
up.
Word.
oh, I don't want to watch.
And they might. I'm looking through the tinted window, so they can't see me.
Oh, but if I watch, I feel like they're gonna hurt themselves or break my dang thing.
There's definitely some blood vessels.
Oh, that poor guy, and he's going backwards with
He's
this
going
thing.
backwards, and then he's gonna go up the
If it
stairs.
falls on him, it's gonna just break itself in half.
No, they got that.
Woo!
Guys,
I'm so glad we could live broadcast this moment where they
guys.
hustled my sink around the corner. And they're going up the stairs, and it hasn't fallen down.
I can see through the. Are they gonna try and get that up on the counter?
Well, that's what they're supposed to set it for us. I don't know how they're gonna. They can barely budge that thing.
But they got it in. That was pretty good.
I think the guy on the left had a lot more of a can-do spirit about it than the guy on the right. He was pretty sure it wasn't gonna work. Oh,
well, I can't wait to see it. I hope that they get that thing uncrated.
Nor I. I also am really excited to see it.
I think they just set it on to something. I think they've still got it up in the air. Nope, down on the floor.
So I bought a rug that we unrolled upstairs yesterday. We were just laughing. Nothing like making your builder feel the pressure, like setting up a rug in the house. We rolled it back up. We just brought it here because we don't need it at the other house. But it's a new rug and it's so pretty. And I got it on a whale of a crazy deal, like 70% off from Company C, which I've always really liked. Yep. I like them because they're not afraid of color. They actually use color, which is a tool in the decorators. It's a really underutilized. Color is just not... I just feel like a lot of people get nervous about color in decorating. So last night we had a bunch of people over for NSA alums for a drinks night, and so there were a lot of people coming through the house, and it's funny how when you have a number of people who haven't seen your house before, you begin to sort of see it with new eyes of like, I did sort of run amok in that room, didn't I? I see now as you're looking at that you might wonder, that's like me and my sign that I bought that said, it's like a street sign from some other era that says no necking in this room. Yeah. And it's like, but it was like industrially produced. And I can't fathom why. But I hang that up and sometimes I don't notice it until other people are standing there looking at it like, but what does it mean? I was like, oh. And I think I was telling somebody last night, I was like, there was this moment where I was gonna be really calm in this house, and I was gonna be all neutral, and it was gonna be whites proud and of you grays because and you used to be pick one color and an accent, but now you just hit the whole color wheel. It's being a little that way. And I bought some I bought some of Anna's velvet. Oh, you did. I did. And I am reupholstering a weird little kind of industrial style chair that I bought from Wazoo Surplus for $3. And I am upholstering it in her velvet. And it is delighting my heart. But I can't say that it's not going to be eccentric because it's this beautiful velvet, which makes me think maybe I should throw away most of my stuff and start over with a different approach here. But it's there's a lot of things going on in my house right now, and I was like, I was gonna have it be neutral, and I was like, maybe we could stick with like jute rugs and neutral walls, and then I could add color with things like throw pillows. But now I have zoomed out and have put all sorts of hurrah going on. So this is me getting a little philosophical on it. Okay. But this is a thing. I think it's a real thing. I think that it might be a tenuous argument, but Luke and I were just talking about this because of C.R. Wiley on his podcast. Luke had listened to it. He was telling me about something about it. So that's what we were talking about. I haven't listened to it. But it was about the household, and he was just talking about how people now tend to think of the house as being, it's kind of like the house is a people garage. Like you just go home from your life and then you just go there to like chill out for a minute, or that it's really at your home would only be about where you just relax or are entertained. Like that's what you do at home. So there's like loungy furniture only, Like, only, like, big, puffy, overstuffed things and Snuggies and Snorfels and polar blankets. and then...
Huge screen TVs.
And then... But then everything is, like, done for relax. And this is why I was bringing up color. Because I actually don't think that a minimal use of color means this.
No.
I think that a minimal use of color dominating society is a different kind of a thing. Like, I think, because I know someone who mostly decorates all in white, and it's always fun, and it has
beautiful.
a ton of personality.
Yeah.
Like, and so I'm in no way negative about that. But my point is that the treating the house like it's a people garage, rather than a place that is supposed to be productive and people interacting in a different way, they're like that the home is actually a workplace of... Like, the home is not there just to be your spa day look all the time.
This is something that throws back to, like, that book Home from Nowhere and that stuff, where there's actually been a lot of architectural shifts that reinforce this weird approach to life. So if you think about... I always thought this was really fascinating, is that if you look at how cities used to be planned, your house faced the front street, and there was a back alley where you would
bring in the groceries, do the kitchen entrance.
But there was an alley, and that was the, like, your garbage cans are back in the alley, you park maybe back in the driveway, and then guests come to the front of the house, and you're showing your best face to the world. Right. Now, when you drive up to people's houses in newer cities or newer subdivisions or whatever, you're staring at the garage. And
but
that
it's
is
also
what dominates.
But it's also where you put the garbage out in front, and because there isn't an alley.
And you sometimes can't even see the front door, because it's not about guests coming in or that. It's like, we drive up to the front of the house, you only see the garage door, you drive in, you go into the kitchen.
And if you're living in a subdivision and you have, like, a lawn care service, your neighbors never even have to see
your
you.
face.
You, like, come and you get transported into your pod and you stay in there.
And it's very inward facing. So, for instance, like, it used to be if you would build a fence.
But it was more like you're treating yourself like you're going home to dock your iPad or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of...
But, like, you would, if the way people used to build fences, the pretty side faced the street. And then the back side, all the seams and everything faced inwards, because it was all about looking out.
It would be sort of like putting all the seams on your dress on the outside so they wouldn't chafe you.
Yeah, exactly.
But the point is also that what people see is your finished side, not the unfinished.
Now people build their fences inside out. So you put the nice side inside for you to look at, and everybody else can cope with the seams on the outside. So anyway, I just think it's a really interesting shift in... And it's nothing to say that, like, if you have a big garage door in the front of your house, that means you're in sin. It's nothing like that. It's just a very interesting shift in our culture. I myself
might wish we had a garage here, which we do not yet. But
it's like
someday.
Our culture has shifted to one of, like, gracious hospitality and decorum and manners and things, to one of nothing but my comfort, sort of. Right. Like, it's very inward focused.
About me.
It's about my self-care.
This is where I'm going to veg out on the couch, eating popcorn and drinking wine because I deserve it. That's what people are thinking. Yeah. But on the other hand, I guess what I was saying is I love the decorative approach that looks like the intention is not for everyone to veg out and be blah. But to actually have things to work on and think about, or something to read, or things.
But also where beauty actually matters, because that's something I think
because
that
it's not your slob pants that we're wearing,
right? Because if your house is essentially your sweatpants, like the whole house is a like architectural version of your sweatpants, then I feel like there is something important that's getting lost, like.
Well, and not just architectural, but even if you're working with bad architecture.
Oh, yeah.
That there's a ton that we put on after the fact that you can make your home a different kind of flavor. Like, an unexpected flavor is a flavor where people intend to make it lovely and welcoming and comfortable in a different way. Because one of the things that about super comfortable clothes, if you think about it, they are not what make everyone else feel comfortable. No. When you're on a plane and somebody comes in their leggings and their slobby shirt and they didn't take a shower because they didn't need to, because they were just going to be traveling all day, what they're doing is prioritizing comfort, but it's their comfort, not the comfort of everyone else.
Exactly.
And that is just a thing that has to be, that Christians need to behave differently about that. They need to be thinking in terms of the comfort of others.
Loving your neighbor in trifles.
Yeah, and which is a working definition of manners. Yeah. Right there is love in trifles. Like it's being like holding doors or saying you first, or, all of those things are prioritizing other people's comfort. And actually, here's a great place for us to segue into the thing we were talking about the other day. I think we've talked about this briefly before, but I nursed 7 babies.
Oh, my word.
And you nursed 5 babies. Yep. And we are actually totally fine with breastfeeding. Like, neither of us...
Not just fine with it. It's wonderful. I mean...
Yeah, I guess I thought that was implied by the fact that we've made it through 7 and 5 babies nursing them. But our point is that we're advocates of nursing.
Yeah.
What we're not is like
exhibitionist.
When you want to, if you want to when you prioritize comfort, when you say comfort, it's like, well, whose comfort?
Yeah.
And if you nursing your baby is making people uncomfortable, you should be the first person to want to make them not uncomfortable.
And this, you guys, this is because I was talking about this because there was the most outrageous episode of nursing I have ever witnessed in my life, but it was happening in a standing position on the airplane when we were flying to England.
Yeah, so this is why this topic came back up.
And I was just like, it was epic. And you just couldn't even look anywhere over there because it was so bad. And the woman was so proud of herself for it.
Yeah.
And one of the stewardesses came up and gave her a little card, and they were having a little talk about how important it is that you do this because other people can just put up with it.
People need to know.
And it was like, and when you see another woman nursing, you give her this card because this is to encourage one another to just... consider no one.
I want to say something really fast, though. My personal policy was, if someone is offended that I am nursing a child, that's their problem. That is their problem and not my problem. But that I should never give anyone any cause beyond they had a personal problem with the concept that God invented. God...
I tried to get a hair off Rachel's.
Becca just reached over to pull a hair off of my. That makes it sound like I'm growing large hairs on my neck.
I thought it was a random hair, but it was attached to your head.
Yeah, no, but it wasn't. But anyways, the point being that if they mind the concept that I'm breastfeeding a baby, then what they mind is what God created. They mind that. But I should never give them cause to be feeling awkward because I was being oversharing with the whole world. Yeah. Why? And I'm gonna say it, ladies. I'm just gonna say it. And if we lose followers for this, so be it.
Okay. You're gonna have a winning time?
It is false in all categories to think that a baby will be uncomfortable if there is a blanket or a covering of some kind.
No, that's absurd.
No, but that's what everyone's always like, you want me to suffocate my infant to feed them for your comfort? And like, yeah, we do want you to cover that up. Like, my plan for you is less of this and more of privacy.
Yeah. And the thing is the argument that this is a beautiful, natural, like, totally organic process, therefore it should be public.
There are other things.
Like, there are other things. I personally am very happy that we have restrooms separate from the main dining area. And it's like, okay.
So what? That breast milk is amazing.
It is
good
amazing.
On it.
Of course it is.
Keep it
else. So is our digestive tract. But I don't really feel that just because it's natural, it needs to be in the public eye.
No. it's sort of like saying that God's design with molars is incredible, so chew with your mouth wide open all the time to celebrate molars. Like, you know what? It is beautiful, and it's incredible. And there's also a reason that Meanders has always taught people to chew with your dang mouth shut. Like, it's not nice to other people.
No, it isn't. And I just feel like this whole, everyone is going to have to put up with me exposing myself to the world.
Yeah, it's like, a celebration of me.
They shouldn't have to.
Yeah, and part of the really problem is, because I asked Becca, and I nursed my babies in public places all the time, including nursing twins. And I have nursed my babies in lots of places without even having a blanket nearby, but just being discreet anyways. Yep. Which is a possibility.
It's possible.
I bring it up because it's real.
Possible.
It's real.
Yep.
And I've never had anyone really upset about it.
No, me neither.
I told you the only person that really ever gave me the stink face about nursing a baby, I feel that it was more about us bringing the tone of the restaurant down, and I kind of agreed with them that I think I was doing that. It was sort of like tough. Sorry, we're in a booth at a weird restaurant, and I have to feed the baby.
I nursed 5 kids all over the place. Yeah. And I never one time had anyone be rude to me about it. Never. And I feel like so.
And part of that is because you wouldn't. Well, yeah. There's a lot of things about that.
Yeah, and it's just the thing is and it's not because I never did it in public or I never, because I did all the time.
I will say that one thing that no matter how private you are, nursing twins in public,
well, that's hard,
brings too much attention to yourself because people would walk by and be like, "Whoa. How many feet is that? What's happening? Like, what's going on?" They wanted to figure it all out. And I'd be like, move along. Things are pretty dangerous as they are. Please go away. Well, the last thing I need is someone really trying to scrutinize it.
Yeah, and the thing is we are all about, yes, of course, nurse your baby. That is a wonderful design.
And love that God gave that to you to do. Like, there's no problem in enjoying that.
But you shouldn't use it as a way to fly swatter people in the face all over the place.
Or to try to build up your own value in some weird way by flaunting it about. So we recommend not doing that. Sorry if you're into it.
But you guys, I've never witnessed anything more outrageous than this woman, because she had the baby in the cot that was attached to the wall.
It's just not okay.
In the front, the front of the plane. And she decided
naturally you think, leave the baby there. And don't hold the baby.
No, don't hold the baby. Allow the baby to nurse whilst reclining on the cot, while you, in a shocking
do things you should not do
amount of shenanigans, stand up and then nurse the baby from there with no attempt at anything.
And you know what didn't help that situation? Getting a card of encouragement.
Exactly.
For it.
And she began to recount all the times that people had
been rude.
Had said, "Oh, there's a bathroom over there," and she said, "I don't need to go, thanks." And then they had a long thing about, like,
those horrible people.
Would you like to have to go eat in the bathroom? And
you're like, well, I don't know, but I think that we could still, be decent.
Public decency, guys. Public decency in your nursing and in your decor. That was the theme.
Public decency. That's it.
What's
your tip? What's your tip for public decency, Beck? My tip is not connected to that. My tip is clear garbage bags. Once again, I'm endorsing clear garbage bags for moving, because it's on my mind again.
Okay, good.
If you put everyone's bedding in a clear garbage bag, you know what it is.
Who's disease?
If you put everyone's snow pants in a clear garbage bag, you know it's the snow pants, and to not open that bag right now, because you don't want to. It's
good.
Yeah. That's my hot tip.
That's a good tip.
Also, hire more men to carry your expensive stone sinks when necessary.
Yeah, that's a good. You've got 2.
Yeah, what's yours?
I don't have one. I forgot again.
Well, I made up for you. All right. Well, we'll see you next time.
Guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.